Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Friday night battle in Provo as the undefeated Cougars square off against West Virginia. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I mean, I was almost tearing up because it's like, it's been so long, and I was just so grateful to finally be able to move around again and run up and down the court and be tired, and all those emotions, it hit me fast. So, I was tearing up the first couple times.
All right, there you go. That's Taylor Hendricks from Jazz Media Day. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're going to talk a little NBA. We've currently got preseason, the Abu Dhabi games going on in the studio, Ben, where the Knicks currently lead the 76ers 47-41.
Jordan Clarkson making his Knicks debut.
In the Middle East. So, anyway, I was talking to you off the air. Man, the East is back to being a joke.
Yeah, it's really bad this year.
It is. I mean, it's got to be Cleveland and everyone else, I guess.
Cleveland and the Knicks.
And I certainly don't believe in the Knicks.
I don't believe in Cleveland.
Yeah, so the East is back to being...
Maybe Orlando can jump in.
The East. Speaking of Taylor Hendricks, and has a chance to be like a defensive impact type of dude. Can I read you a quote from Anthony Edwards? I read this, and it's a great quote, but pretty much sums up why I think the previous edition of the Jazz did not succeed, and why, as they build new culture, maybe got to think about some of this stuff. All right. Here's what Anthony Edwards said. And by the way, not that they've won a title. I just love this quote. He said, "Sometimes you just got to take those matchups. You can't make Jaden," speaking of Jaden McDaniels, "guard the best player every night. Some nights you got to say, you get the B player and let me get the A player. It's about trying to push myself so I can get in better shape by February, March, heading into the playoffs." I never understood why there wasn't another player on those previous Jazz teams, not named Royce O'Neal, that could go out and
play defense
against the other team's best player. Like Donovan Mitchell never said that.
Right.
He never said that. And you could never tell me that Donovan is not capable of being at least a serviceable defender. He's so athletic, and he is long for somebody of his height. You cannot tell me that he couldn't be, like, he could not go to Royce and said, "Let me guard Damian Lillard for a little while. Let me take Dame tonight. You take a break and go guard somebody else for a little while." Never did. That was not his mentality. That was not the mentality of the team. In fact, poor Royce got hung out to dry time after time after time after time because he is not Jaden McDaniels.
Keontae George is not a good defensive player. He's not. There have been more instances of Keontae being a good defensive player in his career than maybe all of Donovan Mitchell combined in Utah.
Okay. I guess maybe the mentality is more what I'm highlighting.
No, and I'm totally agreeing with you.
Let me go
Donovan, you have better tools than Keontae has. He's a little shorter, but yeah, he has a 6'10", 6'9" wingspan, super long arms, freaky athletic, really, really strong, like big chest, big legs. Donovan absolutely could have been a good defensive player. Yeah. Did not want to be. Didn't care to be, never tried to be. Yeah, there are that was a missed opportunity for him. And to the point of whether Quinn never asked him to do it, because I do question sometimes whether or not Quinn asked people to do hard things. And that's why all the players liked him, is because he just said, do what you do well and keep it at that. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but it's kind of what is reflected on the court.
This is the feel you get. He didn't tell Jay Crowder to stop shooting.
Right. So
Jay's like, I loved Quinn Snyder. I bet you did.
Didn't seem to tell Donovan to play defense.
No.
So, and Mike Conley was way too little to be able to play defense. And so there were those issues there. So, yeah, I'm with you. I would hope that that's something that Will Hardy can instill in his team. If there is a knock on Will Hardy to this point, it's that there's been no semblance of this Jazz basketball team under his watch being a good defensive team.
No, and, well, he hasn't really had the personnel. But, yeah, I get your point. But you hope one day that Ace Bailey would tap Taylor Hendricks on the shoulder and said, let me guard guy A tonight. Mm-hmm. You go guard guy B.
Yeah.
I'll take guy A tonight. You get a little rest. I want to make sure I'm sharp for the playoffs or whatever. That's a great mentality, you know? And you look at somebody like Ace Bailey, who's going to just start the habits that he's going to have as an NBA player. And I would hope that a potential star would have that kind of, I'm going to go play two-way, and this is a good way to lead, and all those sorts of things.
You look at the Jazz's backcourt right now, and Isaiah Collier and Keontae George and Walt Clayton Jr., who they just drafted, are kind of your 3 point guard-ish players. If you wanted to really make a case for yourself and separate yourself, because they're all different, but if you really wanted to make a case for yourself, one of you guys turn into TJ McConnell.
Someone who can really guard.
One of you guys start picking everybody up the second they cross half court and say, you know what? My offense is going to come not just second, but third. I'm going to dedicate so much of my energy to the defensive side of the floor. So for 15 minutes a night, the opposing point guard, starting or backup, hates life. Doesn't want to be in Utah, never wants to see me again. Picks up a technical foul because they shoved me in the chest because I've been all over him all game long. I'll pick up a foul or two along the way, but yeah, I think that would be the way to differentiate yourself. And that's where the Jazz really are lacking so much, because I do think if you look at Cody Williams, you look at Taylor Hendricks, who we're talking about, Ace Bailey, who certainly has the physical tools to do it, the Jazz conceivably could put together some, with, of course, Walker Kessler patrolling the paint, could put together some capable, if not eventually plus defensive lineups on the floor. They just don't have a point guard who's shown any willingness to do it at this point.
Well, there's one candidate in those 3 that would be the most likely to do it.
Who's that?
Isaiah Collier.
I think Isaiah has the best physical tools.
Yeah, and he doesn't have really any offense to speak of, so he can...
Right.
No, that's not fair. I don't mean that, because he does lots of good things offensively. He's just... His shooting is so not there that he's almost a detriment offensively, so I don't know if that's ever going to come around. So if he's going to scrape out a place in the league, that side of the ball would be a good place to do it.
Yep. Super strong, extraordinarily quick, should understand how to do those types of things.
And you can play that guy at least 15 minutes a night.
Yeah, he's good enough at what he does. Even if he never learns to shoot, he's good enough at the other things he does offensively to be passable. Maybe not as a starter, but as a backup. And then if you're a great defensive player, you really have a chance to stick in the league and be really valuable for a long time.
I would agree. I think he's the most likely candidate, if that's what we're talking about. Whoever's got his ear, tell him to be a grinder. He is. He's strong and built and really athletic. And kind of has a little bit of that grinder mentality, too. I mean, you can see that in the way he does play offense. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Keontae ever does that. He'd be in the league 10 years if he did.
Yeah, if he can start
like George Niang
trying to play that way, he will be better.
You?
Yeah, not George Niang.
If Keontae George makes it 10 years in the league,
George
do you think somebody is going to be like you?
George
really?
legitimately doesn't have the physical tools to be like a good perimeter defender. Big enough to, if you lean on him, he should be able to push you around a little bit in the paint, and that's valuable. Those guys are still valuable in the NBA. But, he's not super fleet of foot, so he's got to be a great three-point shooter on the other end. Keontae at this point is not a great three-point shooter. He's a willing shooter, but he's not a great shooter. Isaiah Collier is a non-shooter entirely. So, yeah, they've got to carve out roles somewhere else. Walt Clayton, I think, might be the best combination of both, which I think is another reason why Walt's going to be probably the Jazz's starting point guard midway through the season. I think probably
we know
the best
that,
scorer.
though?
That he's a good defensive player?
No, that he's a guy.
No, of course not. But I think if you look at what he has been able to put on film throughout his college career, which is, I think he's truly a very good shooter. And I think the fact that he tries defensively and seemed to show that in Summer League, which again, Summer League doesn't mean anything. But if he can do that better than the level of Keontae George or Isaiah Collier, which is an absurdly low bar defensively, then he should be fine.
Okay.
I mean, statistically, Keontae is the worst defensive player in the NBA.
I just don't know what to expect from Walt Clayton.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm more talking about Walt
Sure.
more than the other guy. I just don't know what to expect out of him.
I think that's totally fair. Yeah, we have not seen it, and he got hurt in Summer League. So, and he might be. I mean, he's as big as Keontae. He might be a little taller actually. So, he's got some physical tools as well. But yeah, he may just be oblivious on that end of the floor as well.
Maybe I don't know.
We'll see.
That's I guess what I'm saying.
But if I were to set goals for the Utah Jazz this season, if I were the front office and wanted to see a couple of things, and you're starting to try and pare down this roster a little bit, defense would be a huge plus. Because you're not going anywhere if you don't play defense. You're just not. You're not going to make it anywhere important that you want to be 3 or 4 years from now, what this rebuild is all about, if you don't have guys who are showing effort on that side of the ball.
Unless you're Jabari Parker.
Which, he was the Cardale Jones of the NBA.
Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot.
He didn't do a whole lot, and yeah, he was injured, but even when he was on the floor, he never quite became the star that he looked like he might be at Duke.
But what was Walt Clayton, 18? 18th pick, is that right?
Yeah, 18 or 19, yeah.
I don't expect that guy to come in and take the job halfway through the year. I don't know. When he put in where was Keontae picked?
16.
And I don't like getting...
And Isaiah was 29. I mean, that's the point. It's not like the Jazz have a top 3 point guard on the roster, or a top 3 draft pick.
I don't like getting lost in this guy was drafted here,
Sure.
so he should be this.
Matter.
I don't. But I don't know why we would expect more from Walt Clayton than we would any other 18th pick. Grayson Allen was in that same category, right? What did we really expect out of Grayson Allen? Nothing. But on a different team. Walt Clayton will get more of an opportunity to make an impact than Grayson Allen did.
Yeah.
So maybe he grabs it. I hope for his sake he does. I mean, all these guys, they're nice. We just sat down with him at media day. These are nice guys, like easy to cheer for. To
tie this into a conversation we had about a different sport, but a similar situation is, who should be BYU's starting quarterback? And McKay Hillstead should have had the upper leg over and over. Upper hand, not upper leg. Got Shador on my mind. I've got Rex Ryan on my mind.
Rex Ryan on your mind.
The upper hand.
The upper toe?
The upper toe throughout camp. He's got the experience. He's been there before. He's had 2 years. He knows the system. And, was even there in spring. But if you're not better at some of the things, you're not going to get that job. And, I know Keontae said all the right things and has shown some really bright flashes. But I don't know. He didn't outright win it last year over Isaiah Collier. And looked like more of a six-man last year, so we'll see. Can he make that jump to the starting point guard? We'll see.
I don't know why I can't get past this, but you're telling me you think the Knicks are better than the Cavs?
I don't, but I'm not a believer in either of them. It's...
Did Matty leave the rubber cement out again? Like, we're back to believing in the Knicks? How is that even possible?
The Knicks have a better roster top to bottom than the Cavaliers do. I think Jalen Brunson's better than Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, I do not.
Do
you really?
Uh-huh.
Neither one of them plays defense, and they both dribble the ball. I don't see how you could say as one's better than the other. Donovan was All-NBA last year, right?
Jalen Brunson was too, unless he just didn't hit the games played requirement. But like playoff player, Jalen Brunson's great. And he hits a bunch of clutch shots. And he hit the game winner against Detroit to advance them to the next round, I think, in Game 7. So, yeah, I think Jalen Brunson's at worst as good as Donovan, if not a little bit better.
All-NBA first team last year.
Had to be Shea and Donovan.
Giannis, the Joker, Shea, Jason Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see who second team was. Hang on. Second team. Brunson made second team.
Yeah. LeBron,
Steph, Brunson, Evan Mobley, and Anthony Edwards.
I mean, Jalen Brunson averaged 26 points and 7 assists last year and shot 48% from the floor and 38% from three. Donovan might be a little bit better three-point shooter, but they're the same player. You know what I mean? It's a little tiny guard that can score a lot and can carry a huge offensive load, can't get a stop if their life depends on it. It's just like this is a fatal flaw for a basketball team. It's not how it works. And those are great players, but it's why, honestly, Orlando could surprise everybody and sneak up and win the East.
Evan Mobley's way better than Cat, though.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. The more effective player because he plays both sides of the floor.
And I like Bridges, but Jalen Brunson has the ball so much he's totally negated. He totally did Bridges what LeBron did to Kevin Love.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be effective if they don't have the ball.
Right. But you still have Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson if he's ever on the floor, which is basically
Hart's
never.
Average.
Hart's a good player, but I mean the Cavs are already losing players because of their salary cap. They're up against it. This Cavs team is not going to be as good as it was last year when they didn't get out of the second round.
Yeah, but the East stinks.
Yeah, their only thing is that
I don't want to pick the Cavs either. I just think they're better than the Knicks.
We'll see. I think they probably meet in the conference finals. They will meet at some point in the playoffs.
They both will lose to whoever comes out of the West. I could pick you 5 or 6. I can pick you 5 or 6 Western Conference teams I would take before I got to the.
I agree with you. The Cavs are probably in the same conversation as like the Clippers in the West.
I'd pick the Cavs over the Clippers, I think. Clippers are so old.
They are old. Yeah.
So old and dusty.
Did you pick them over the Warriors? In the
So
playoffs?
old.
Yeah, they are.
No, I'm more thinking Minnesota, Denver, probably. I love Denver's offseason.
Minnesota beats them. Denver beats them.
Oklahoma City,
Oklahoma
certainly.
City beats them.
Houston, I'd probably take Houston.
I think there's a chance the Lakers will beat them.
No, I don't think the Lakers work. Unless the Sommelier really does brew up something fancy. I don't believe that LeBron's going to want to stand there and watch Luka play. He didn't like it last year.
We'll see. This is they have to make the conference finals this year, the Cavs. You just have to.
Well, they could almost do it with their eyes closed.
You would hope so.
Well, the East is that bad.
You would hope so.
I've been waiting for Orlando. You know me. I love what they're doing in Orlando. I've been waiting for that to happen for like 3 years.
But the Cavaliers didn't make it last year. And look, Indiana ended up making the finals and pushing the Thunder to Game 7. That was a good Pacers team, but Cavs had the best record in the East, right?
Yeah, but that Pacers
lost their first 2 games at home.
That Pacers team was way better than it got credit. We
Yeah, it was a good
talked
team.
about it on this
It was a good
show.
team.
Yeah,
You're
before the playoffs even started, we talked about why is nobody talking about Indiana. But then they lost what? What's his name went to Milwaukee, and Halliburton's not going to play, so they're not.
Miles
gonna be,
Turner's not good, and Boston's bad.
Yeah,
And Miami's bad.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. They absolutely have to at least go to the conference finals. And I think if you fall short of the finals in the East this year, whoever it is, the Knicks or the Cavaliers, are going to feel like it was a disappointment because the seas have parted for you. But at the same point, outside of Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, Darius Garland, which is a good starting 4, like your next best player is Lonzo Ball. That team stinks. Like this is a league about depth. That's why the Pacers were awesome last year. Tyrese Halliburton's really good. Pascal's really good. Miles Turner's okay. But they had so much depth. They had so many guys they could go to. You could get Ben Mathurin off the bench and come in and have a big game, or you could have T.J. McConnell, who we talked about. They just have a lot of good players up and down the roster. The Cavaliers do not.
Yeah, but
And they're already starting hurt. Darius Garland's had surgery on his toe.
Yeah, but you were throwing the Lakers into the mix, and they don't have any depth either.
No, they don't, but I think
And
Luka's the best player in the group. And LeBron might be second.
Luka on one side of the ball is really great. And if it were 5 years ago, maybe I'd agree with your LeBron take. But if LeBron doesn't have the ball, how effective could he be? But they don't have any depth either, which was my entire point.
Yeah, they don't.
Who was their big offseason signing? It was
DeAndre
DeAndre Ayton. Yeah.
Dominating.
Woo!
No, this is the Cavaliers making the conference finals is not or the Knicks is not a testament to those teams. It's a major issue with the Celtics, who should be the best team, and the Pacers, who made the finals last year, losing their 2 best players to Achilles injuries.
Yeah.
It's not, and then deciding to have a non-competitive year. The Pacers don't sign Miles Turner; they could have, and the Celtics trade everybody on the roster. They traded Drew Holiday, they traded Kristaps Porzingis. Like they absolutely checked out this season on purpose.
Is that kind of Fat Joe?
It is, yeah. It's formerly Fat Joe,
I wonder.
less Heavy Joe.
I wonder what it costs to get him off the couch and over to Abu Dhabi to perform at halftime.
Life's good if you're Fat Joe.
It's got to be a couple $1,000,000, right?
$60K.
Oh, Fat Joe needs more than $60K
You think
to
Fat
get
Joe's? It's not Pitbull.
Has he squandered all of that money he made in music? I know he probably hasn't had a hit in a while, but come on.
Christian Fat Joe is a rapper from the late 90s and early aughts.
Skinny guy?
Teamed with Big Punisher quite a bit. Not Big Punisher, not a skinny guy.
Fat Joe.
Well, that was kind of the thing. They were the big twins, and Big Punisher died very young.
But now he's Ozempic Joe.
He looks great. Yeah, he looks awesome.
But yeah, performing at halftime at
At a NBA preseason
I'm
game?
sure the Red Dragon was not available. Yeah, but it's a preseason game in Abu Dhabi.
I
The
bet
people who are putting on the game are the ones who hired Fat Joe.
I bet they made him buy his own ticket.
You think Fat Joe's that hard up?
We're only paying Joe for the performance itself. You got to get there. You got to pay for your own stay. You got to get to the arena on your own.
Who was that rich dude? I think he was in Asia. Who had Rihanna play his wedding. Didn't he have to pay like $5 or $10 million or something like that to get
$10 million.
to get Rihanna off the couch?
thought it was like an Indian prince or something.
Yeah. And
India's in Asia.
you're telling me that Fat Joe is
Right, correct. Thank you.
$60K and he has to buy his own tickets? It's gotten bad for Fat Joe.
Yeah. Well, it's Fat Joe. It's a preseason game.
Do you think he at least got a free buffet or something over there?
He's like, they called Bad Bunny to do the Super Bowl. I got to get to the Abu Dhabi games. I got to stay relevant.
Wasn't Not So Fat Joe the answer, though, of New York when the Dodgers rolled out Ice Cube for the World Series?
That makes sense.
And didn't he get
Bing
panned?
bong.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more coming up next. It's Jake and Penn, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Pretty
10
nice
seasons?
Pretty nice day for me, yeah.
Wow.